Stompy Tron decks are pretty much forgotten in Pauper, but today we are going to try Mono Red Tron, which has been a good deck for a very long time, but now it seems like there are just better things to do in Pauper, and this list was built by Roger Estella, and this version is pretty clean. 4 copies of everything, 4 lightning bolts for some removal, 4 candy trails, obviously scrying super important for the Tron lands, and some life gain too, 4 expedition maps to actually find the Tron lands, a lot of mountains here along with the olifants for a total of 22 lands. Fire Prophecy, it kinda serves as a way to search for your lands because you can shuffle something you don't really want or need and then you can draw a card. And for Lambasis, for more life, scrying and drawing, full 4 of the breath weapon, which I think is very aggressive, but I actually kinda like it in a deck like this. Self-assembler, super grindy, basically 4 cards in 1 if it doesn't get countered, which is pretty powerful. And the boarding party can be used to find them. It will usually find something like the Candy Trail or Lambas, which is still pretty powerful. And the Colossus is an MVP of those decks. You of course want to finish the game with the Rolling Thunder, that is your main win condition I feel like. And then the sideboard, 2 Gorilla Shamans against the Artifact lands, 4 Red Blasts, I guess very important against Tron since that doesn't seem to be such a great matchup, 4 Cast into the Fire against those bridges or fairies or elves, all the pesky 1 HP creatures, 1 Torch against Fogs and 4 Relics against all the graveyard decks. And the reason why we are playing Red Tron today is because I want to be able to build my own version. I have some pretty cool cards I want to try in this deck, but before that we actually need to play the regular version to understand the play patterns and how the deck actually plays. So today we are going to try exactly just that, and let me know what would you change in the deck and I will see you in the games. Before we jump into the games, I gotta plug myself really quickly, so if you're interested in delving deeper into these Pauper decks, want to see some other benefits and support the channel, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description and it will take you to our Patreon to see if that's something you're interested in. But now I will stop wasting your time and I will see you in the games. So Indifferent will be the first opponent and we are going second. Hand looks, it's pretty interesting. I think we should mulligan this one. We do have the breath weapon, but the Tron lands aren't anywhere to be seen. They mulligan to 6, so we could be pretty greedy and just try to play the breath weapon and find the Tron lands, but I think this is a mulligan. Okay, this one on the other hand I think is actually keep. We obviously have just 1 mine, which is not ideal, but we have 2 candy trails, maybe that will help us find some lands, and I think we can use this to our advantage and find a second land and then maybe a third one with the candy trails, so I will keep. And we have a second Rolling Thunder in the deck, so putting 1 on the bottom shouldn't be a problem. Let's do that. They go Dismal Backwater, which just 1 deck plays this card usually, and that's the Dimir control deck. This is I think a pretty hard matchup, though we can maybe finish with the Rolling Thunder. Okay, we go Urza's Mine and we run the Candy Trail. And we find the map and the Lambus. Sadly that's not good enough because we need to find actual land, so let's double bottom and say go. Yep, Sneaky Snacker, it's precisely that deck. It's like Dimmer Control, but they play a lot of removal spells in this one. We find the Urza's Tower, that's always good. We could correct the Candy Trail or go for another one. I think another one seems pretty nice. Tower, we already have one, but it's still a land, so I think we will double bottom, and if we don't find the land we will just correct the Candy Trail, which I think we will do that anyway. That was one of the worries I actually had with this deck, is how consistently will you be able to find your Tron lands, because there are not many ways to do that. Obviously you don't play green, there is no crop rotation, as well as no world map from Final Fantasy, so I'm not sure how consistent will that be. Find Fire Prophecy. We have no red sources. Let's crack the Candy Trail. Expedition map, okay, not ideal. That's fine. Forbidden Alchemy, interesting. I think that's played in like 1 or 2 copies in the deck. Yeah, they will double cast down, which is, we are actually pretty happy about that. Find a mountain, I like that a lot. I think if we actually play the map, they might counter that, which is kind of concerning, but I think I will try anyway. They will definitely go for a counter spell, yep. And then we can just hold the Fire Prophecy. We will probably shuffle. They are pretty close for the Colossus to be actually useful. We'll probably shuffle. It could be 1 Colossus. I think Breath Weapon is pretty useless in this one, so. And they are using Brainstorm now, which I'm very glad they did, because we now can Fire Prophecy pretty safely. I think we will try to Prophecy the Snacker. I think this is their only creature creature, by the way. We will shuffle the breath weapon, find another prophecy, okay. They go Muldrifter, okay, this is weird, this is a different type of deck. They could play something like a Sense Flux, for all I know. I should have kept the prophecy then, I just had no idea they are playing Muldrifters in this one. It's not the regular version, it seems like. They evoked it too, they go Ash Barons, find the Rolling Thunder. Well, I guess we are cracking the Candy Trail. It's turn 5, we still don't have Tron, which is like not ideal. We find another tower, which, okay, that's good. Obviously a very slow game. Okay, evoke another Muldrifter. I wonder if they are playing the Essence Flux or they are playing just as a card draw. I think there is no need to play Muldrifter if you don't play Essence Flux, especially in the Dimir deck, right? Find the Oliphant, which is good, I would say. We can cycle that one. Then later we can go for a Prophecy. We will obviously play the Mountain, and yeah, we can try to go for a Prophecy, probably shuffling the Colossus. They go another Brainstorm, that's good for us. Less ways to bring the Snacker back. If they counterspell the Prophecy, we are extremely happy about that. They could also hardcast Muldrifter, that would be ideal. They cycle Ash Barons, find the Plains, go to combat. I think we might take it in case they play Muldrifter. I think 2 HP is not so crazy, right? Plus they could have more draws. Eldrazi, Sky, Spawner, okay. Okay, that's something we can kill for sure. We go Fire Prophecy on the Spawner. Let's get rid of the Colossus. Find the map, awesome. Boarding Party. So I guess first we will actually try the Expedition map. That will probably eat the counterspell because they don't want that on board. Prohibit, okay. The issue, I should have played Boarding Party. I can't play anything else now. That's my fault. I forgot I don't have Tron yet. Yeah, we just have to pass. That was my bad. Next turn we will do Boarding Party probably because the Cascade isn't dependent on them having counterspells. So this is a 1-1, not a 0-1. That's actually pretty good. I still have just 5. I realized we can't even cast the Boarding Party. Oh, this is really bad. I mean, the Tron finding isn't super consistent in my opinion, so. And I was looking at the list, like there are 4 maps, 4 Candy Trails, Soul Manipulation. That's a really good card actually. Oh, I see now, that's the combo. This is genuinely a powerful card. Soul Manipulation is pretty powerful. That is a Muldrifter if I've ever seen one, okay. Dismal Backwater. Fire Prophecy, we can at least try and kill the Muldrifter, right? And Maelstrom Colossus seems pretty out here. I want to keep the Rolling Thunder, let's go Colossus. Find a Breath Weapon, I don't mind that one. I really don't. I think that's good in this situation. It's not super useless because they are playing a lot of 2 HP creatures. I think we are going to wait yet again. I mean, 3 damage is quite a lot, but we will see what they do. Cycling Barons. Another Snacker, okay, that's a good breath weapon it looks like. And step, heal breath weapon now. They will counter, they will dispel actually even. Hey, found a Tron, cool. We have a lot of mana now, which is great. I wonder how close are we to actually being dead though. Well, I guess we have to try the Boarding Party, right? Am I right? Cascade first, let's see what we hit. Expedition map, decent. Can search for more towers later. So do we want to cast something like a Rolling Thunder here? If they have no counter spells, that's pretty good. I think we actually do. We can, that's double red. Oh, never mind. This is 5, so we can actually cast a second Boarding Party. This is great. Find Lembus, good for life gain and drawing some cards. Oliphant, is that good enough in this scenario? I think it's a big beater, so we say yes. Keep that here. Another 6-3. They have 5 damage, so they would need to have 4 from hand. I don't think that's gonna happen necessarily. We will hit them for 12. Maybe we can finish with Rolling Thunder next turn, especially if they tap out. Oh, they have a cast down. Okay, right. They have 2 in the grave, but still have... They actually have 3 now because... Yeah, so they've used 3. They could have still 1 more. So next turn we can correct the map, but we are maybe forced to do a Rolling Thunder. Find the Breath Weapon. I kinda like it. So first we will do the optimal play, which is search for another tower. That's basically 1 free mana, right? Play the tower. We can choose actually Thunder or Breath Weapon. We can do both. Yeah, the fixing. We could do both, I think, if we cycle the Oliphant. But we already played the tower, so there might have been a little bit of a problem, because if they now counter the weapon, I am actually dead. So let's try if we are dead or not. Yep, they had it. They have us. Yeah, there's not much to do. Never mind, we have the Lembus. We can actually kind of win still. Let's hit them for 6. We could also use the Thunder to just finish them off if we feel like that. They go for another cast down. They had 4 and they milled 2. That's kind of wild actually. That's fine. Let's go for a Lembus. We gained 3. We are still somehow alive. Find a power plant. So we could do Thunder for how much? If they have a counterspell, we lose, I guess. But we could do do? This is 9 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 2. So 9 plus 4. Oh, I think we are one off per usual, right? Yeah, I think this is 9. So we need to pay 2 for this. This is 9. This is 4. So that's 13. And 2, yeah, that's 15. That's beautiful 1 damage off. So we need to do a Rolling Thunder for like 3 probably. They go Forbidden Alchemy. They found a counterspell with the Alchemy, which marks the end of the first game. I think the Oliphant mistake was a fatal one, probably. But now we have some stuff to actually do here, so we will do just that. I think just 1 Rolling Thunder is probably just okay. I don't love a lot of bolts against them. I don't think it's super necessary. I want to bring Red Blasts. I also want to cut some bread weapons and definitely bring some relics. Actually 4 of them maybe even. They have a lot of graveyard synergy. Bolts are decent against Mulldrifters, but that's about that, right? And I think bolts are better than bread weapons in this matchup precisely because of that. And we still have the Fire Prophecy. Yeah, let's run it like this. Should be fine. So I'm thinking, yeah, there are not many ways to find your Tron lands. I wouldn't count Lembas as a way to find your Tron land. I would count Candy Trail. You see 2 cards, pretty good. And I like the Expedition map, of course, that's the staple. But for example, if you take a look at the colorless Tron deck we built some time ago, there were a little bit more ways to actually find your lands, and I was kind of enjoying that. So there's also no grindiness in the deck. It's very straightforward. Now we go first. We are in a similar situation as we were before, but I think we can keep. It's a decent hand. Let's run Urza's Mine, Weevil Candy Trail, trying to find a second Tron land if possible. Mountain Maelstrom Colossus. Yeah, that's probably double bottom, right? Dismal Backwater. Boarding Party. Think we can crack the trail and their end step, or we can use Red Elemental Blast too. Okay, let's crack the trail. Another Oliphant. Sure. Where are the Tron lands? Nowhere to be seen. Okay, we will cycle 1 Oliphant. Say go. I think we are cycling a second one too. Another Red Blast. Okay, but now we are out of lands. Yeah, this is not good. This is definitely not good. I should have maybe mulliganed both games, but it feels weird to just mulligan all the time because that hand was actually, I feel like, pretty average. There are a lot of payoffs in the deck, but not many ways to actually find your land, so they didn't find the land, it looks like. That's very interesting. Find the power plant, that's something. They probably have a counterspell, but we will try a self-assembler, trying to bait it out. They also could have cast down, so their deck is basically packed with removal, right? Soul manipulation, that's... Oh, they actually did it very smartly. They discarded the Mulldrifter so that they can return it with soul manipulation. That was extremely smart by them. They are a good player. Do you think it's possible they didn't play a land on purpose, or they just actually missed? Another mine is nice. We can go for a boarding party then. We go to Cascade. Yeah, Lembas. Like, it's kinda... What's kinda interesting is that you usually will hit those small artifacts, I feel like, in this deck, right? The big wombo combo is obviously the Colossus into boarding party, which is pretty sick. Find Urza's Mine. Don't think that's what we need right now, actually. Let's put that on the bottom. Candy Trail, cool. That's not bad. They will counterspell the 6/3. Okay. So that's good value for us. Maybe I should have picked up the power plant because now we can blast, so we get rid of counter spells, but again, it really depends. They go evoke Mulldrifter. So I think we will try to self-assembler and red blast the counter spell if they have one. That doesn't sound too bad, right? Best draw, probably a land. Expo map. Well, that's really nice actually. We will play that now. They are thinking what to do with that. We are very happy about red blasting this one. So now what we are going to do is we are going to crack the map, find the final piece, which should be, no, not a mine, it should be a tower instead. And we now have beautiful 7 mana, which is a lot. So we can self-assembler, find another one, and then I guess we can Candy Trail as well. Scry 2, looking for payoffs, boarding party is 1. Actually don't mind both of these cards, to be completely honest. I like them both, but I think we will bottom the relic, keep the party on top. Next turn we can boarding party and protect it with the blast at the same time, which is really powerful and I think pretty hard for them to deal with. We go Gurmag Angler, okay, that's a way to battle the board, I guess. Pretty good one at that too. Find the boarding party, okay, cool. So we can run the boarding party, Cascade first. Yeah, that's Fire Prophecy, cool. We will cast that on the Gurmag and we can shuffle back. I don't know, do we want to shuffle back anything? I don't feel like we do. This hand is perfect. Let's see if you want to. You don't, okay. So let's go for another boarding party in that case. Self-assembler is a beautiful find. It will counterspell the boarding party, okay. Cycle the Ash Barons and we will hit them for 10, which is good. We have no self-assemblers left if I'm not not mistaken. Exactly. So we will hit them for 10 here, expecting no blocks, and say go. Next turn we have still the blast, still the assembler, still the candy trail. Looks quite nice. They go Forbidden Alchemy. We don't see what they bring with the alchemy, so that's good for them. Could be a counterspell potentially. They run a cast down on the boarding party, sure. This Gurmag is kind of a problem. It's a force. I don't think they will attack with that. They will just block. Find a power plant. That's not bad. Think we can play the power plant and correct the candy trail. Find a fire prophecy. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do. I think we will attack here. They will block, that's fine. And we will fire prophecy the angler. They will prohibit, so we will red blast the prohibit. We wanna keep the assembler, I think. And then we can play the assembler too. We have no cards left though. So we will just shuffle back the Lambus and hope for the best. They will flash back Forbidden Alchemy. Okay. Wonder what are they trying to find? Maybe they will like snuff out or something, right? Like, not that it would help because it still costs for life. I think the boarding party is the main reason to actually go red. I like the prophecy as well. We win this game, sweet. So is there anything we want to change? And I think the answer is no. We were pretty happy about it last time, so we are this time too. Let's submit and say go. And the third game, we are aiming for a very fast run if possible. Find expedition map. This is not bad, especially if we can turn one map. I like it. Let's keep. They go Dismal Backwater, which negates any ability to annul or something since the land is tapped. Wow, this is turn 3 Tron and this is great. So we can go power plant into expedition map. We will play Sneaky Snacker, that's fine. We can go tower and then we will correct that for the mine. And we have 7 mana next turn. We can cast assembler, even use the protection for red blast, but that's going to be next turn. We attack for 2, play a land, say go. We will just crack the map, find the mine. Okay, a lot of mountains here too. I don't mind. So let's start their counterspell chain. We will self-assembler, deprive. Ooh, but they need to return a land. I think there might be some combo in this with their deck, but I'm not sure. Yeah, obviously extremely happy about this. Hit us for 2. Another tower is nice, but we will start developing mountains. And if they counter the boarding party, it's not like the end of the world, so I think we are gonna go for it. We still have the Oliphant. I hope we will maybe cascade into something good. Okay, map is not ideal though. And this Tron deck has no outs of actually finding a useful land with the map, you know what I mean? Go Hydroblast. Yep, no way to Red Blast. Guess we will correct the map and step, right? Yeah, the deck is like very straightforward. It's like an aggressive deck with no outs if something goes wrong, and I'm not a big fan of that. So I think we might try to rebuild. We will search for another tower, I think, and thin the deck as well at the same time. Find Lambus, don't hate that at all. We could try to go for the Oliphant instead though. Yeah, let's play Mountain. Let's try to cast the Oliphant. They will go Forbidden Alchemy, we don't mind, that's fine. Hydroblast, think we will Red Blast the Hydroblast. And let's go Lambus too. Self-Assembler is a pretty beautiful draw, I would say. We can definitely keep. They cycle Ash Barrens, probably for a Swamp. Could be Snuff Out, could be Cast Down, could be a lot of things. They don't attack, interesting. Find the Relic of Progenitus. I am a big fan of that, big fan. So first we will attack, see if they block. No blocks, okay. So first things first, I do think we can just play the tower this time. Let's go for a Relic. I personally think they won't like that very much, since it's really good against them. Sure, they don't mind, looks like. And we can run the self-assembler too. Probably will eat a counterspell or something, I'm fine with that. They have the thing where they return the creature probably. They have the Eldrazi Sky Spawn in there. Yeah, we will definitely exile the graveyard. Find Urza's Mine, that's not ideal, but we will say go. Play Dismal Backwater. Combat, they actually hit us for 2 here, probably found the cast down or something. No blocks. Obviously, tapped Oliphant, and then we will correct the Lambus, I think. Lightning Bolt, that's cool. That's definitely cool. But there is a reason they play just one. I think it's cool if they like play Muldrifter or something, but so far there has been no need for a Bolt. I don't think Snacker is such a big problem. We need some non-land cards though, for sure. They go Ash Barrens, attack for 2, or are they blocking this time? They seem to be blocking. That's good for us. Looks like no cast down in their hand, and if they block, we are pretty happy about that. We will keep those cards, we don't mind. They will play a Mountain, we will attack. Still have the Red Blast if they like find some blue threat. They will block, that's completely okay. It has trample anyway, so we don't really mind. And we will say go. Threatening lethal next turn. We have Red Blast for protection if they try to find some card draw or something. or destroy this with Hydroblast. We win the match, very close, 2-1 against Dimir control, hard matchup for sure, but we somehow made it. Pulpo Cape will be the next opponent. Hand looks pretty solid, even though we are going second, 2 Tron lands and Lambos keep. They go for this pretty good looking Swamp and Shambling Gust. Looks like Mono Black Sac. Let's go Candy Trail. Find the mine, we already have that, no thank you, let's bottom that one. And bottom the breath weapon too, I think we want to find Tron ASAP. Here's the vampire. Would love if I could kill that, but that's only possible if we draw a mountain. Instead we find Urza's tower, which is a good find. We have the full Tron here. The thing is though, we still need the mountain to properly play the hand we have, but we will go for a power plant and go for the Lambus. Self-assembler is quite good, we can put that on top, especially for next turn, right? Okay, that's a lot of creatures, which means a lot of stats for the Bloodroom Vampire. They played another Vampire and the Sage. It's pretty hard to deal with, even when we consider we have a Breath Weapon in there, but we take 2 and end step. We naturally find a mountain. I wonder what's the best course of action. Probably just tower play the Self-assembler, correct the Candy Trail end step. That's a lot of things, dude. Yeah. Okay, they go for the sacrifices. Maybe they're planning to kinda hit us with... No, they don't have enough mana for... You know what, the Rite of Consumption. They unearthed back the Sage, so they're going all in here. How much damage is this for the one Bloodroom Vampire? It's about... So this is 2 sacrifices, 4, 5, 7. That's a big... Yeah, that's a huge swing right there. Hopefully we will be able to live to see another day here. I think we are dead. No matter what we do, right? Well, I will block the biggest one and see what happens. I think we are dead here, though. Not much else we can do. Wait, they are buffing this guy. Do they just want to, like, trade and that's it? I thought we are dead to the Bloodroom Vampire. Maybe, yeah. I mean, oh yeah, they kinda realized that, I think. But we have a great breath weapon next turn, though, I will say that. Now I don't think we are dead anymore. I think we are pretty alive. With a great breath weapon next turn, we will still correct the Candy Trail too. Okay, that's 15 damage. Still alive, though. Still alive. Let's use the trail, hopefully finding some good stuff. Colossus is good stuff. I think we will... is it the breath weapon angle? I mean, Fire Prophecy does actually the same thing, right? So... Let's see how much mana we have. We have 7, 8. So we could go Fire Prophecy and like Self-assembler. That's quite nice, right? Let's Prophecy 1 Vampire. We will shuffle, I think, 1 Assembler because we can find it with the other one. Find a Bolt. We will play the Assembler, find another one. And then we will instantly use the Oliphant as well. So we need a second mountain to play all the red cards. So we will do just that. And I think we should be stabilized, right? I mean, I'm not aware of a card that wins from this position. I could be wrong, but I don't think... Big Honor is good. That's definitely good. This is scary. We could be dead if we don't block, so we need to block, sadly. The Big Honor is very good, of course. They will trade here, but we can bolt and we are pretty stable, I feel like. Okay, let's run a mountain. We have 8 mana plus a bolt, which is beautiful. Let's bolt first. I guess I should have used the Colossus first. If we find the bolt now, it's a little weird, but I think we are bolting anyway, so it's fine. Let's run the Colossus. And we win the match. They don't want to play. A lot of people don't want to play another game. I guess Mono Red Tron is too OP. So we win against Mono Black Sacrifice as well. It's a decent matchup if you find your Tron early enough. Alright guys, we are back with the conclusion and deck is okay. I think it's powerful. I think we have good game against the small swarmy decks with 4 breath weapons in the main deck. That's obviously very aggressive. I don't think this deck has too many ways to find your Tron lands though. So you are pretty reliant on actually drawing them naturally. Yes, you've got the Candy Trails and the maps and the Lambasses, but I feel like that sometimes is not enough. I would maybe like to see like 2 copies of World Map from Final Fantasy. But that being said, the deck is good. I had a couple problems though. First one is the number of red sources. Sometimes you just have too many red cards in the deck and the mountains with the Oliphants are not enough, which is not ideal. And then the second thing is the deck is pretty straightforward. That means that it isn't very grindy, right? You just play the cards you have in your hand and you hope it's enough. There is no recursion, there is no anything. I would maybe love to see some recursion in a deck like this, and I have a couple of cards I could see fitting into this deck, so I will try to make my own version and maybe see if I can solve those problems. I also think 4 breath weapons in this meta game is a little bit too much. I don't think there are that many swarmy decks. Yes, there are the elves and the fairies, which breath weapon is amazing against, but Mono Black Sacrifice doesn't really care about breath weapon. And I guess Mono Red Rally is a pretty good target too, though they can return back the Sneaky Snackers. I did like the Prophecy. Again, it's one more way to find your Tron lands, which is obviously very nice. nice and the bolt was kinda okay, although again, the problem with red sources was pretty obvious there in some games. I did like the Colossus and the Partey. I personally think the Partey is the biggest reason to go red. I think Boarding Partey is probably the most powerful card, and then if you go Colossus and hit the Partey, that's insane. But most of the time you will probably hit some of your small spells, right? You will hit your weapons, your breath weapons, your Lambuses, or some of the smaller artifacts or the removal spells. But that being said, the deck is pretty fun, it's very straightforward, it's actually pretty nice for new players as well, I would say, and the sideboard was really nice. I felt like it was pretty powerful. I'm not sure about the Gorilla Shaman though, and obviously the Rolling Thunder 2 is a pretty cool win condition. But yeah, I think I will try to make my own version, which is maybe a little more grindy, that has a little bit more game against those very control oriented decks, but I do like the removal. I mean, to have removal in a Tron deck is a pretty nice privilege. So let me know how your version of Mono Red Tron looks, and I will see you soon. Have a great day and bye.